I never thought I'd be making this video, but maintaining a good relationship with your parents is one of the most important things you can do as a man. I feel like once we get to the age of 12 and 13, we lose a lot of interest in, talking to our parents and maintaining a good relationship with them. It's like we get embarrassed by them a lot, and even if they're not doing anything wrong, it's just the fact that they're there in certain situations makes us uncomfortable. We'd rather hang out with our friends, go to the mall with them. But if our parents want to go to grocery shopping, we're so quick to come up with the reason why we can't go, even if it wouldn't even take that much time out of our day. And, we're 12 or 13. It really doesn't require a lot of time for us. There's not a lot of things that you're doing at that age that are really that important. If we're being completely honest, you're probably just playing video games, running around, and, eating junk food. So that little bit of socialization should be good for you, and you should definitely uh, implement that into your relationship with your child. Because if you're watching this, you're probably a lot older than 12 or 13, but in case you somehow are, definitely maintain a good relationship with your parents. And starting off at that age is good, and maintaining it throughout your life is important. But it gets even worse for most of us, especially once we get to high school. We found our niche of friends. We're spending more time working on projects, doing homework, and we just kind of lose track of our relationship with their parents. We only see them um, when we're in the house. We only see them when we need a ride somewhere, or the good old fashioned, or of course when we need money. Then we always have to make time to talk to our parents, right? But in terms of having a nice, healthy relationship, you gotta start implementing that sooner. You can't let other things come in the way of that. And obviously you're gonna have moments in life where things do pop up, and you can't spend as much time with your family as you like to. But in terms of completely neglecting it, I feel like you just can't do that. And a lot of you guys, before you know it, you'll be in college. You guys will have that option to go in dorm, and whether you're in state or out of state, a lot of kids want to go dorm, and they want to get that social life, they want that college experience. But that's when it gets super easy for your relationship with your parents to just fly away. You have so much more going on now. You're not even seeing your parents every day before you go to bed. You're not under their roof anymore, and you're with your boys. You guys are doing stupid freshman things, always going out every night. And it's almost like you just get so lost with your own life that you just completely forget about your parents. It's like your parents, if your parents didn't constantly, if your parents didn't constantly call you and check up on you to make sure like you're alive, you might not even call them the entire semester, and that's crazy. What you need to do, you have to implement either a weekly meeting or a bi-weekly meeting with them. And I want you to FaceTime them. Do not call. It has to be a FaceTime. Unless they're busy, obviously, then you can just be on the phone. But having that eye contact is very important. Them being able to see you, you being able to see them is very important. And the thing is, during that 45 minutes to an hour, you have to be actually engaged in this conversation. You have to be locked in, bro. You can't just sit there and be like, how, if your parents ask you how you've been, like what's new, and you say, oh, I'm good, and that's all you say after they haven't talked to you for like 2 weeks, that's not gonna cut it, bro. You have to actually put in effort into this conversation, because you're gonna get what you put into this, and otherwise you're just wasting 45 minutes of your time and their time. You have to talk about different clubs you were in, talk about a super hard exam you had to study for, and how you had to spend like an hour every day or 2 hours every day in the computer lab, but you were able to be the only kid to get a 90 percentile on it. So it all paid off. Stuff like that, parents love to hear. They love to hear about how good you're doing in class, how many new friends you've made, or just trying new experiences as a whole. That's very, very important. And when they talk to you about their life and what brings them joy, you have to give an equal amount of enthusiasm towards it. You can't just like be dry. You can't just be emotionless. Even if they're talking about their Costco haul, or they're talking about how somebody at work was rude to them, and they're giving you a little bit of a rant. Even if you don't care that much deep down, you kind of have to just interpretate it or think about it in a way that can be interesting to you. Because obviously, if you lie completely and you make it completely meaningless and you are just faking the smile, that's not really good in the long run either, because then your parents are going to think you're interested in those types of things. So in future phone calls, they're always going to bring that up, and then you're going to be like, oh, like, why am I here? Like, deep down inside, you're going to have that emotion. Whereas if they're talking about something you really cannot stand or you think is so boring, try to switch it to a topic that can kind of relate to both of you. Try to find common ground and then just talk about that. Or honestly, there's going to be times where you do have to just suck it up and show enthusiasm, and every once in a while it's probably not the worst thing in the world. But you can't just, don't be one of those people that, you deny their phone calls, don't answer, or you let their contact name ring, and just don't pick it up, so they think you're not on your phone when in reality you're literally on your phone and you just don't want to speak to them. Don't be one of those people. If you do have to prepare for something important, for example, like midterm week or finals week, give your parents advance notice that that week you will be super busy and you don't have time to be talking, and you'd rather just speak to them when you have more free time and you're not so stressed. That way the conversation can be more beneficial to both of you guys, and trust me, your parents will understand. So once you have that boundary in place, it allows both parties to know that you guys are kind of just postponing that communication week for either the week after or the week before. You can kind of figure it out however you'd like to, but just letting them know and keeping them up to date with your life is super important. And also, when it comes to college breaks and stuff, like winter break, spring break, that is your time to spend with your family. It's so easy to take a winter class. It's so easy to go work a part-time job. And unless you really have to, I would really recommend you don't do that. You spent so much time away from them that you have so much to learn. There's so much to, like, catch up on, and just, spend time with them, bro. A lot of people, especially once they go to college and they get a full-time offer, they might move out, they might go to a different state, and it becomes very difficult for them to see their parents. And there's gonna be a point in time where your parents aren't here anymore, so you have to make the time count now. You have to create memories that you can cherish forever. I'm not saying your parents have to be your best friends, because there's certain things like I would never talk to my parents about because of just how different the age gap is, and that will result in me talking to other people about certain topics. But there are things you can talk to your parents about. Ask them for advice. Like, there's so much you can learn from your parents because of how much more they have experience in this world than you do. And don't take any shame in asking, because I'm sure they'd love to help you. It's just they never brought it up because they might have felt that you never really took time to take interest in their life, which is completely on you, and you have to do a better job in that. You should be cheering your parents on just as much as they're cheering you on when you're in college or when you're taking on life. Like, there's so many different stages of life that everyone is going through, and they're at a completely different part than you are, and you're at a part that they were once at. So they'll be willing to help you now, and they're willing to be giving you tips in the future. And take their advice however you'd want, because obviously not everyone can give you the best quality advice, but for the most part, like, your parents will never do you wrong unless it's like unintentional, because like sometimes they just don't know any better because of how big of a difference the generations are. But they can help you with a lot of stuff, so it's just really up to you to ask them. And once you develop a really good relationship with your parents, I want you to start traveling and trying new experiences with your parents. You don't always have to do certain stuff with your friends. You don't always have to try a new restaurant with your friends, or try a new go-karting place with your friends, or even vacation with your friends, which don't get me wrong, you definitely should do, but don't be scared to have those experiences with your parents. I've noticed the best interaction I've had with my parents is when we've done something new, whether it's us going to a new restaurant, us going to a new billiards place, or us going for a walk in a new location, stuff like that. It just sparks new thoughts. You get the raw, authentic reactions that they're having from that moment, and they're getting your raw reactions. So It's just always something to talk about, and it's so spontaneous because you didn't go into that environment planning what to say. It's just, you're kind of just speaking on your emotions, and it's just very wholesome, and it's like a joy that you really can't get from anything else. That's the whole purpose of talking and maintaining a good relationship with your parents. You're getting a sort of bond, you're getting a bond and a loving interaction that you just can't get anywhere else. You know, you can buy all the cars you want in this world, you can buy all the houses, you can do whatever, but in terms of pure joy and the way you can feel love from a significant other, it doesn't get much better than that. And you're supposed to carry on that tradition to your kids as well. And I would really hope that you have a good relationship with your kids.